Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to today's Friday Harmonize to Energize. I hope you've all been having a good week. My name is Terry Matthews. I am your host. I work remotely for Mary Burmeister JIN SHIN JYUTSU, which is the authentic source of JIN SHIN JYUTSU, as taught by Mary Burmeister through her teacher, Jiro Murai. It is not a replacement for conventional medicine, rather a complement. So welcome to everybody, and a warm welcome to anyone who's new. We're just going to have a quick look at the JIN SHIN JYUTSU website for those of you that are not familiar with it, and I will show you what's going on in the JIN SHIN JYUTSU world, and for new people, how you can connect to us, find out about our classes, etc., etc. So here we go. Hold on one second. I'm going to do a screen share. So here it is, jsjinc.net. This is our website. And here we have some advertisements of classes coming up. That's already happened. This is already going on. This is a 5-day webinar. Well, it's actually 6-day. It's 5 days now or more. And coming up, or has actually, I need to look at my calendar, already started on Wednesday, a basic seminar with one of our instructors, Ioli Liebenstein. And this is a new format. It's where you can, for several days, every Wednesday, started on March the 16th, spend time, a couple of hours, here's all the times here, with Ioli, learning the format for the basic JIN SHIN JYUTSU practitioner training. There's the information, there's your organizer, there's the fees. You can click on the button and you get 3 months of replay. And it's Ioli again doing tomorrow it starts, Introduction to the Core Principles of JIN SHIN JYUTSU. This is the kind of class that you would do if you're totally brand new to JIN SHIN JYUTSU, or maybe you've done a self-help class, but you haven't done a practitioner basic class, and you want to find out a broader vision of what might be taught if you wanted to be a practitioner or attend one of those classes. And this is a new course that we've introduced only in the past year. I haven't seen it myself, actually, but there it is with Ioli. There's the information. And your organizers from Germany are Suzanne, Hugo, and Dorrit. And all we have from them at the moment is an email. So just click on the email and get in touch with them. People ask, can we join when it started? Yes. And you can get the 3-month replay and pick up the piece that you missed. If you've missed any of the other classes that we've had over the months, years, here you have the links to all of them. And you click on them, and there's a fee for the replays. And again, you get them for 3 months. Some people ask, because our prerequisites to become an authorized practitioner now in the current situation are at least 2 online and 1 live. You might be saying, well, when am I going to ever get to do a live one? Good question. There are some live classes in Europe, but not at the moment in the US. There is one coming up, though, in Oregon, in Talent, Oregon. I think it's June or July. So keep an eye out for that. And that'll be a chance for all yous that are wanting to be practitioners that have only managed to do online to get your live class. Put your hands together that we won't have to postpone it. Unfortunately, because of COVID and variants, we do have a pattern of postponing, but hang on in there. If you are very keen to do this, you can link up with other students on the online courses, and you can find yourself a group to work with and practice in between. I mean, there's nothing different in the sense that the original way of learning Jin Shin Jyutsu was always the 5-day basic, and then maybe 6 months in between the 3 that you need to do, where you would go and practice with either people that were in your class or with friends and family. That's been the format. JSJ certification process was only introduced in the past 2 or 3 years, and that at the moment is on hold. But let's remain optimistic, and let's see what the future brings. Let's breathe out, let's draw in the life energy and have an expansive vision for the future. So those of you that are familiar with the Harmonize to Energize format know that once upon a time on a Wednesday, we used to have the sharing stories, and then on Friday, yours truly would do self-help. Well, now it's just a Friday, and we mix and mingle the sharing stories with the self-help. And we don't tell you who's coming on because we want you to think, wow, this might be interesting. I wonder who that is. It's the mystery. So, without further ado, without further jib-jab from me, today's mystery presenters are there she is. Adele, welcome Adele. And hopefully,
well, hello. She may be coming after the wrangling.
Yes. There you go. So welcome Adele and welcome Susan. They are going to share their inspiring stories today with a doggy. Well, we all know that Adele is connected with animals and Jin Shin Jyutsu, and so is Susan. Susan, I think you're a certified teacher for Adele, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Yes, there you go. So we got some very experienced people, and we got a beautiful dog there. And I'm going to get out of the picture if you want me to, or I'll stay. It's up to you guys which way you want me to go.
You're fine. It feels great to have you with us.
Okay, well, I'm going to turn my mic off and let you do the talking begins from Adele and Susan. Here we go.
All right. So, well, I'm honored to be here, and it's always such fun to get to play with Terry. And so, golly, Terry, I was thinking about your, teaching the self-help and combining the stories. And anybody who's studied with me knows nobody gets away without self-help. So when I thought about this whole story today, what came to me is the importance of the 4th depth and the importance of the bladder flow specifically. So tell you what, if you're listening, why don't you grab an index finger and either or. And I always love to hold it on the center 13. That is the key to our exhale, and it just feels luscious. And of course, in this story, we're going to see how the bladder flow helped change the pattern of a little one's life as he learned to let go of fear. So, for about 12 years now, I have worked at an animal rescue outside of Destin, Florida, in Freeport, Florida, called Aliqua Animal Rescue. It's a truly luscious place. We place around 1,000 domesticated animals a year. And I have been so blessed as to be on staff there, working with dogs and cats and emus and bunnies and horses. For 7 years, I took the dogs into the prison program, which was a really interesting opportunity. That's all closed because of COVID right now. We'll see. Probably in October, our lead trainer, who I love working with, a woman named Jen Morgan, said, okay, I got a dog for you. He has come in from a very bad situation, and he's just had a painful life, and he's scared of everything, and he's a puppy, and he deserves a second chance, and maybe Jin Shin Jyutsu can help him. So I was all on board. So I met this little bundle of golden doodle. He was less than a year old at the time, and closed down. I don't know how else to put it. He was adorable. I mean, you absolutely wanted to hug him, but he was so freaked out, you couldn't really get close to him. It turned out the way he got to Eloqua was, as unfortunately so many adorable dogs do, he was purchased from a backyard breeder for way too much money, adopted into a family who knew very little about dogs and had 5 small children. And I guess they wanted this dog to come fully trained, housebroken, bought him as an 8-week-old puppy, but then wanted him to act like a mature dog. So, as most people who deal with puppies know, they go through a wild chewing phase. It's developmental, but it can hurt and it can do a lot of damage, and it just takes time. They grow out of it. This family didn't know that. So it seemed this little guy got yelled at a great deal. And what they told him at the time they surrendered him was he wouldn't listen to it. He wouldn't listen to us even when we hit him repeatedly. So that's a good way to train puppies. He, as I said, had a habit of chewing. They had a trampoline, I guess, 5 children, socks off on the trampoline, having a great time. This little guy sat under the trampoline and ate all the socks, which caused impaction, and they had to take him to the vet. The vet said, oh, well, this is going to be a couple $1,000, at which point the original owner said, well, for heaven's sakes, he's not worth that. Just put him down. Luckily, the refuge where I work has a very good reputation. This vet immediately called the refuge and said, can you come get him? And so we did. And he had the surgery at the refuge. And then he went to live at the refuge until his life sorted out a bit. So that's where I met him. He was just freaked. He just was on high alert all the time. And when the trainer first worked on him, she realized right away, no matter what she did, he didn't respond. And she started like clanging pot lids together, and he didn't respond. And she said, you know, part of the reason he doesn't listen, even when they hit him, is that he appeared to be completely deaf. So that made a lot of sense. They started teaching him with hand signals. He's very bright, picked up on hand signals right away. And then we found like a high-pitched whistle. He would turn and look at a whistle. But mostly he was locked in this world. And mostly he chewed. No matter what toys they gave him, he chewed. So he lost privileges with the chewy toys. So I went to work on him, got him a big stuffed Kong so he could chew appropriately, and I could, in a few moments, more or less, as Mary says, get my hands on him. Lots of, one hand on and petting until he kind of calmed down, settled into the Kong, and I could put my hands on. And he was like electricity under my hands. So it was clear he'd been traumatized. So I started with my favorite animal go-to, self-help bladder flow. Just started thinking about releasing fear, basically. And he calmed down And he eventually put his head down, and I could even do stomach flow, which talked about the 21s, which is what you use with puppies that chew too much. Freedom from mental bondage, but digestive issues, addictions, all of that stuff through the 21s. So it was luscious to work on him, put him back in his run. And later they said to me, he slept for 5 hours without lifting his head. So I felt very happy that he had a little relax. I went back to see him the next week, and immediately something was different. The first thing I noticed was a car backfired out on the street, and he turned. And he just responded to sound. So I went to the medical staff and I said, has he been on antibiotics for ear infections or something? They said, no. The day after you worked with him, he started responding to sound. And I've spent years and years, 3 decades with this art, and still I am perpetually amazed and in awe and in gratitude, because I hadn't thought, what if JIN SHIN JYUTSU could help him hear? But boy, I started thinking it then. And then I started different flows that would be appropriate for that, gallbladder, umbilicus. And he just soaked it up. Week by week, he got more and more hearing back. And with the hearing, he just calmed down. He stopped as much of the frantic biting. It's not gone, but he lessened it. He started being less fearful, even with some of the male caregivers, because his biggest terror seemed to be left over from the man in the original family. So I went to the founder of our refuge, Lori Hood, and I said, can I send out an email to students of mine, people I've worked with, because I would love to see this dog placed with someone who would continue to share the art with him. And blessedly, they know and they trust the work, and Lori gave me the go-ahead. So I sent it out to my students, crossed my fingers, exhaled a lot, and waited for a miracle. At which point, I got a text message from one of my beloved faculty members, Susan Kempfer, and I turned it over to her.
Well, or we can turn it over to him himself.
Well, that's true.
And I don't know how well you guys can see him. He's enjoying a little peanut butter.
I can enlarge you, Susan, if you want at this point. Here we go. Let's see if we get to see a bit more.
Here we go. All right. So my first introduction to JIN SHIN JYUTSU and meeting Adele was 8 or 9 years ago, when Adele was going to be in Louisville for a class, and they needed some rescue animals, and we ran a rescue. So we had several animals that we were able to provide them. And I just couldn't believe the difference in those animals when I brought them home that evening, or brought them back to our office, because several of them, that one of mine was very nervous, a lot of anxiety, and she laid down and fell asleep without any, needing anything. And so I was certainly hooked. So anyway, we, got the email from Adele about this young man whose name was Pratt. His name is now Dewey. And we met Adele and picked him up down in Alabama, and he has been hanging out with us ever since. We think that his hearing has improved, and I'll try to get his head up high enough so everybody can see his beautiful face. Maybe if we put this over here. He is doing better. He's been in obedience training now, and we think he hears at least 75% of what is said. I think there's still sometimes that maybe he doesn't hear as clearly as we'd like him to. It also could very well be that he just doesn't want to do it, and he's being a puppy. As of this week, he is now 11 months old. So his birthday is next month on tax day. So we're real excited for him to keep getting more and more mature, because we're noticing differences every couple of weeks, where he's not chewing as much, where he's relaxing quite a bit more, where he's enjoying the love. And his best friend is my husband, who he goes to work with. So the whole male issue seems to have resolved itself as much as possible, because he, if John leaves the house, he immediately gets upset that he's not going with him. So he'll go grab his leash and take his leash so he can go. So he's doing a great job from that standpoint. He just started agility training at the end of February, so we're just teaching him the basics of how to go through cones and how to do some of the things. We're hoping maybe this weekend we'll play with the tunnel and he'll have a chance to do some things there. But we're really looking for that to be his purpose. And I'll see if I can get his head up here so everybody can see him. He's right now so focused on his bone.
Yeah, that's why.
Oh,
Oh, that's great.
oh, that little boy.
Oh, that's sweet.
But that is that's our Dewey. And so far, we started, I really just followed Adele's protocol of what she had done. And he wasn't really crazy about 10 and 13, which we tend to use as an opening hold on them. He didn't want me anywhere near his chest. So we just started working my way down his back. And what I found is he loved having his 25s held. So I could leave both hands there for as long as I wanted. And then I could pretty easily slide into safety energy lock 15. And he was okay with that. So we just kept progressing until he would let us have more and more opportunity to do things with him. But we certainly moved on to the bladder flow and the spleen flow and several other of those, just to try to get him more comfortable with it. And now he pretty much hops up on the bed and hangs out waiting for his session every day. But certainly having a little peanut butter does help. It's gotten a lot more interested.
Oh gosh.
No, my goodness. But this is Dewey, and he is doing great, and he is just an amazing guy. He's made friends with all of our other pets that we have. The cat, he still likes to chase a little bit, so we're working on that. But so far, he's just been a dream, and we're happy that the hearing situation has resolved itself. I have a standard poodle that likes to play with him, so they'll end up doing a lot of this kind of on their back haunches playing. So I just think the big thing has been to get him into a routine and get him used to, what life's like in a nice, calm environment. Adele, did I miss anything that we should mention?
I think seeing is believing. I mean, Susan, at the time, didn't you have 5 dogs and 3 cats, or?
Yeah, we actually had 7 dogs and 3 cats. We've lost one of our babies recently, and he hangs out down at the shop with 2 of the others, just to give him a little more room to run and play. The guys that are at our house are elders, so we try to limit the amount of time that he will roughhouse with them. But Lacey is one of those, the poodle, and so she loves playing with him and enjoying time with him. So he looks for her as soon as he comes home, and so they do, a couple of romps through the yard, and he's pretty happy. Give you a penny out here.
When I had sent out that email, I had said to my students, if you adopt him, you get unlimited access to JIN SHIN JYUTSU guidance for the rest of his life. But how fabulous when Susan said so, because she lives it. She lives it every day. So while I would still be willing, she doesn't need my guidance. But he
needs to have. I was going to say he needs infusions from Auntie Adele every once in a while.
Yeah, there just is nothing in my soul that fills me up more than seeing these animals that have been thrown away or unappreciated. Let the art unlock who they really are so we can see it. It's really joy producing.
Well, and it's just hard to imagine anybody that would not want, you fall in love with this guy the minute you meet him. I mean, he is just so happy. He is, first thing in the morning, what's important to him is to, come out of his crate and say hello. And give everybody kisses. That's his first trot in the morning, is to run through the house and see everybody. And you just can't get a nicer puppy than that.
That's so good. So if you're watching this, now I might not have equally dramatic stories, but if you are in need of an animal in your life, you just email me and we'll work on it. We'll drive for future homes.
Hey, Dewey, let's see you face on. Dewey, hello.
Got the top of his head.
Ah, there he is. Yeah, look at those eyes.
He's a little close to the camera right now.
Oh, yeah. Look at those
Look
eyes.
at those beautiful eyes.
Dewey.
Look at those
Hey,
beautiful.
how are you? Yeah. Gorgeous.
He's a
What
sweetheart.
Yeah.
And he's not available.
Oh, sorry, guys and girls. Oh, look at those eyes. What a sweetheart.
Yes, he's a beautiful baby. Oh, and now he's getting into the camera thing. You can see him.
Yeah, he was staring in there. Oh
Anyway,
my gosh.
So this is Dewey, and we'll come back in a year and give you an update on how he's doing in agility. I'm hoping that he'll end up doing very, very well.
Perfect. All right. So here we are. Wow. Well, I'm having a quick look there in the chat room. Yeah, I think people are really liking this. Will a peanut butter bar help human clients? Tom. Well, yes. Peanut butter. Yeah. I haven't tried it, but I like it myself, so I'm sure it could. Yeah. So, any questions, anybody? Anyone got any questions for Adele and Susan?
I'm just reading the chat as well, and
Right.
I think we would be remiss to not say happy birthday to Kelly Mount today.
Oh, is it?
It is not
Happy
only
birthday.
a faculty member for me, but the newest faculty to join JIN SHIN JYUTSU.
No, that's correct. Yes, indeed. Yeah, and I had no idea it was her birthday today. Happy birthday, Kelly. Happy birthday. Congratulations. Yeah. So, you still looking at the chat room, are you, Adele? Is there anything? What is agility good for? That's an interesting question, Carol. What is agility good for? I'm assuming.
I'm sure that Susan can answer this more fully, but I'll start out because she looks occupied. So partly it's a great way to funnel energy. It's a great use to develop coordination and musculature, but probably the best is that it's another thing like JIN SHIN JYUTSU, where the bond between human and animal just gets deepened. They're dependent on each other for their fun. Yeah, that's what comes to my mind.
Well, and realistically, it's a job, for them. It gives them purpose. It gives them the opportunity to show their skills. They get to run through tunnels, do weaving through a series of poles. They get to go up and down on platforms and show that they know when to stop and where to stop. So it really just gives him an opportunity to have something that's a goal as far as the things he's doing. And We're going to see if he likes dock diving too, because that's another new thing that they've added to those competitions these days, where the dogs run and go after a bone and go and jump into a pool. And however far they go is, you know, everybody gets measured. And then based on each of the individual categories, they can be awarded ribbons for that too. But we were really looking for a way to communicate with him and to have something that he could be super successful at. Because he definitely wants to please, and he definitely wants to be a good dog. I don't know if you guys can see.
He's a sweetheart.
The camera back, so hopefully.
Yeah, it's great picture. It's great.
Yeah. He's not really camera shy at all. So
No, not at all.
He loves it.
Movie contracts, get a hold of us.
Yeah. Screenshots are acceptable. So, guys, I'm seeing lots of comments about classes that you're teaching, Adele. Do you want to start talking about that now?
Sure. So I have a couple of things coming up that I think are going to be fun. I have one starting tomorrow, which is on the Teachable platform. It's a 7-week course, and it is so what the Teachable platform means is that we have 5 live Zoom classes where we meet in community, practice, answer questions, but also there's 30 videos that come out on Sunday nights and Wednesday mornings, and it is so you watch them when it fits into your life. A nice thing about Teachable is instead of the 3-month replay, it's a lifetime. So that's nice. You have a dog, you start with your dog. Later on, you get a cat, you can go back and watch the whole thing and again, do it with cats. Now, this class is a little bit different topic. It is called Exploring the Depths Through the Anchor Steps for Ourselves and Our Animals. So we're going to spend half the time on self-help, because the biggest, you know, the what did Mary call it? The unsecret secret to the animal work is who you be, how you center and how you work on yourself before you put hands on the animals. So we're giving that more time. So even folks without animals, you're welcome to take this course. And then at the end, when you decide you need an animal, you let me know and I will get one to you. How's that? You tell me where you're going to get a better offer. So in the chat down at the beginning, I wrote some contacts about it, but then also Kelly and Jude have both listed in the chats ways to find out more about that. What else? Ooh, fingers crossed. I am coming in person. Oh, let's hope. First in-person class in years and years and years, back to Louisville. How much better does it get? And in fact, Kelly and Susan are co-organizing for me. And since they're both on my faculty, I will coerce them to teach some too, which I'm very excited about. That is May 20, 21st, 22nd. We will again work on ourselves, and then we'll be working with horses, and then also going to a rescue farm where we have an array of, if you haven't worked on a pig, your life isn't fully expanded yet. And then really exciting, this group of faculty, there are 12 of us in all now. We are starting a bi-monthly study group starting on April 1st. And that will be, there'll be info on that on Instagram and Facebook and from emails. So that's going to be free. Different teachers rotating, a half-hour format, just to either go deeper or to whet your appetite.
Is that on Zoom?
That will be on Zoom. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Send us the details. I'll put it on the Facebook page for Jin Shin. Yeah.
Oh, lovely. Thank you. Much appreciated. Look at him. He just settled down, Peachy Keen.
He's a star now. He's he's the center, literally.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he loves bones. He loves that one.
Yeah.
Hey, Adele, that ad that you sent me, is that the one that you want me to show now, or?
That would be helpful. This is just a written out bigger, me struggling to make a keynote slide with the info for the class that starts tomorrow.
Okay, let me share the screen. Here we go. So there it is, folks.
The only problem is to register is blocked. But if you go down through the chat, I added a big long paragraph, and at the bottom of that paragraph is the same link. Look at him. He knows how to move things.
There you go. You can see it there, yeah.
But if you can't get the link somehow, contact Jude, contact me. We'll make it happen.
Perfect. Perfect. Now I'll stop sharing for now.
And I didn't check the end of chat to see if there's more questions. No.
Well, we have got more than we expected of Dewey. I mean, good Lord. I mean, from shy to the star of the moment. That peanut butter is definitely the wand. It's definitely the magic.
And I feel slightly badly. Hold on just one second, because it's just not fair. They've been so good for so long. Hold on. Oh, well, they're not exciting at all. There's Shirako. Oh, yeah, he's the star. He's a very dark dog. and
trying hard to blend with the scenery.
and then Carmen. Hi, Carmen. Hi, Carmen. There is my Portuguese water dog, and they help me with all of my classes.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And the cat, well, she shows up every once in a while. And the horse makes guest appearances too.
But they're only when you're in Florida, right? I don't think you've brought them to any of your external classes, have you?
No, I don't bring them in person because I usually got my hands full enough.
Yeah. And it's airplane flights mostly, I guess. Yeah.
I can't remember. We'll see how it happens.
Yeah.
So, but hopefully, talk about airplane flights they won't go on. You'll see how it all goes. But I am supposed to be in Belgium and Switzerland the tail end of June and the beginning of July.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Now, look at him. Oh, my gosh.
Here we are.
Yep. This is what, after we've had a little bit of time, then he's ready to chill.
Yeah. Oh. And you said it's his birthday soon?
April 15th.
Oh, 3 days before tax day. Okay.
Yeah, we should have called him. We probably should have called him Sam. So
Sam.
For Uncle Sam.
Oh yeah. Gotcha. Yeah.
I like Dewey. Oh, you're making my heart full to let me see him, Susan. Thank you.
He is such a sweetheart. Can't get a better guy than this.
I don't know what was in that bone, but it looks to me as though he's ready to snooze.
No, just a little bit of peanut butter.
Yeah, apart from the peanut butter. I mean, he's like, yeah. No, he's back on now. He's awake. Well, that's beautiful, guys. Thank you so much for coming on. And it's like I always say to our guests, you will hopefully return, give us the pleasure of another visit at some time in the future. But for those of you that have enjoyed this as much as I have, there will be a replay. You should always get a replay care of Webinar Jam. Sometimes if that doesn't happen, wait a couple of days and yours truly we'll put it up on YouTube. So it does eventually get to YouTube. I try and get it up as soon as possible, but sometimes, things get in the way. But there will be a replay of Dewey with Adele and Susan, or Susan and Adele and Dewey, or Adele and Susan, whatever. But he's totally, oh my gosh.
Yeah, he's a sweetie.
So sign up, folks, for those of you that love your animals or love animals generally, or you just want to learn a little bit more about the self-help, because, my experience of being with Adele is you're going to get the human side as well, in the sense of practicing on yourself. So you can get a bit of both. And, that's a bonus, really, if you balance it out, if you look at it. And honestly, a couple of weeks back we had Amy and Tate, and I remember both Amy and Tate acknowledging that their JIN SHIN JYUTSU practice is really, really enhanced by working with animals. I mean, I can see that from a heart point of view. It can bring out the compassion. They're very loving. Most animals are extremely loving. But then you're also practicing on them as well, getting used to different holds. So, there are many, many benefits of working with our furry friends.
And you're not dependent on language to guide what you do. You're not, we all have the clients who come in and lie down and tell us what they want us to fix, and the dogs aren't going to do that, or the animals. You've got to get quiet enough to be with them and feel that. So I think it deepens all of our work.
Yeah. No, I mean, it is tremendous working with animals. I mean, I pretty much removed my fear of horses by coming on a couple of Adele's classes. So if any of you got any fear around animals, well, you got your index finger, of course, but there's nothing like being there and present in their energy field, because you're interacting with them in their energy field. So, Adele, Susan, Dewey, thank you very much. Is there anything you'd like to add before I dim the lights, as it were?
No, thank you for listening.
Yeah, thanks for making it possible. Your work is beautiful, Terry.
Oh, yeah, no problem. And we'll look forward to hearing what goes with Dewey over, the next few months, and we'll bring Adele and Susan and Dewey back on the show at some time on a Friday.
We would be happy for that.
Yeah. Look at him. I mean, I could sit back and look at this all day, but I have other things to do. So.
Right now, he's cleaning me up. He's getting the peanut butter off of me. So
yeah. And waste not, want not. No, all right. Well, everybody, thank you for joining us today. Again, Adele, Susan, and Dewey. It's been a pleasure and an honor to have you on. Cheerio, everybody. Look after yourself. Take care. We're still, balancing out all the challenges. Look for the harmony. Do the things that help to harmonize. Breathe out. And be with your friends, furry and human, and help them and serve them the best way you know how. All right. Take care. We'll see you same time next Friday.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.